Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's installment of First Pages. Today, we are going to be reading Clean Getaway by Nick Stone. This is also the New York Times bestselling author of Dear Martin, which is another book that's really good. It's more for, it's a bit a bit like older tone than this one. It's more high school age, I guess. But you guys should probably be fine to read it, and I think you guys would actually find it very interesting. So I'm going to get right into the blurb. For the life of him, William Scoob Lamar can't seem to stay out of trouble, and now the run-ins at school have led to lockdown at home. So when Gma, Scoob's favorite person on Earth, asks him to go on an impromptu road trip, he's in the RV faster than he can say freedom. With Gma's old maps and a strange pamphlet called the Traveler's Green Book at their side, the pair takes off on a journey down Gma's memory lane. But adventure quickly turns to uncertainty. Gma keeps changing the license plate, dodging Scoob's questions, and refusing to check Dad's voicemails. And the farther they go, the more Scoob realizes that the world hasn't always been a welcoming place for kids like him, and things aren't always what they seem, Gma included. Take a trip with the New York Times best-selling author Nick Stone in this instant classic. And I'm going to get ready to read you the first pages. Route 1. Quite a ways to go. It might sound silly, but to William Scoob Lamar, the Welcome to Alabama, the beautiful sign looks, well, beautiful. Not as beautiful as his best friend Shanice Lockwood in her yellow sundress, but beautiful enough to make Scoob tip his head back, close his eyes, and sigh into the breeze, blowing through the open passenger side window of Gma's Winnebago. Exhale Dad's lockdown. Inhale the sweet fragrance of freedom, which smells like pine mixed with a little bit of truck exhaust. "You all right over there, Scooby-Doob?" Gma says from the driver's seat. She's propped up on the gingham-covered foam wedge she uses to see over the steering wheel, pale, polka-dotted little hands perfectly positioned at 10 and 2. She's only 4 feet 11 inches tall, Gma is. Hearing his full nickname makes Scoob cringe. Gma gave it to him when he was 5 years old and obsessed with an old cartoon he used to watch at her house about a dog who liked to solve mysteries. Gma thought it was just too adorable that he couldn't pronounce Scooby-Doo. And because Shanice was Gma's neighbor, she picked up on the nickname and started using it at school. So it stuck. Well, the Scoob part did. Which is fine. Kinda cool even. Scooby-Doob, though? "Gma," he says, "you mind if we stick to Scoob? The rest is a little babyish. No offense," he adds. "Oh, none taken," Gma says. "My apologies, Mr. Scoob." "I mean, you can drop the Mr. too," Scoob goes on. This makes Gma laugh, which makes Scoob smile. He'd never tell anybody, but there's really no sound in the world he loves more than his grandmother's barking laughter. Dad's not a fan. Says it grates on him because it's the one reminder of Gma's past smoking days and potential future lung cancer. But it reminds Scoob of elementary school days, playing card games she taught him like he wasn't supposed to know the rules for, like Texas Hold'em and blackjack. Even now, it blows Scoob's mind that a harsh booming sound like that could come out of a person as little as Gma. "I mean it, though," she says. "You feeling all right? I'm not driving too fast, am I?" She kicks him a wrinkly wink. Now Scoob's the one laughing. He looks up from the brand new road map as she handed him once they were both settled and seat-belted. According to the speedometer, the brand new Winnebago he and Gma are in has a max speed of 120 miles per hour, but Gma has yet to push the needle to 60. "Definitely not too fast, Gma. Though I do wonder if there's a minimum speed limit law you're breaking." "Oh, you hush," she says. "Speaking of which, you never said that you liked my new sweet ride or not. That's what you kids call it these days, right? A sweet ride?" She says it in a way that makes her sound like a smarmy used car salesman with oil-slicked hair. Scoob chuckles and shakes his head. Then he peeks over his shoulder into the back. Truthfully, when Gma popped out of the blue and asked if Scoob wanted to go on a little adventure, he was too geeked at the thought of a loophole in his punishment to give much thought to anything else, their destination included. Especially when she said he'd probably miss a couple days of school. Bonus! He finished item 3, empty the dishwasher, on the to-do list Dad left for him on the kitchen whiteboard every day, and grabbed his suitcase. Then, after scribbling Dad a quick note about being with Gma for the night, Scoob hightailed it out of the house as fast as his off-brand sneaker-clad feet would carry him. Even left his phone at home, largely so Dad can't call him, but he won't tell Gma that. The suitcase had been sitting on Scoob's closet for a month. Dad promised Scoob a trip to St. Simon's Island this year. Scoob's first choice was Universal Studios, but Dad said Scoob was too old for all that. He'd been too young the previous year, but whatever. So Scoob packed up according to Dad's specifications 3 days before they were supposed to depart. Except they didn't go. Scoob got in trouble at school, and voila, trip cancelled. Lockdown commenced. Spring break ruined before it could even begin. Scoob hadn't been able to bring himself to unpack the bag, so he hid it. Now he can see it sitting on the seat of the dining booth in Gma's new sweet ride. Scoob was in such a rush to get it out, it didn't fully click that he and Gma weren't in the Mini Cooper until she asked him to get out of his seats while the vehicle was in motion and grab a GPS from the fridge. That's Grandma's protein shake, otherwise known as Ensure for her. Fridge? Scoob thought, light bulbs slowly illuminating. That's when he looked behind him for the first time and almost choked on the gum that shot down his throat when he gasped. "Ain't he handsome?" Gma said, smacking the dashboard twice. "Brand spanking new, this fella. I've decided to call him Senior after your late grandfather. He and I had a Winnebago back in the day before your dad was born, and your G-pop—" She paused. "Then, anyway, I ain't getting any younger. Sold my house and bought this baby." "You sold your house?" Scoob said, stunned. "Sure did. Fetched a pretty penny for it, too. God bless home equity and hipsters looking to revitalize or whatever the heck they're calling it." Wow! Was there anything else he could have said? She sold her house! Well, you gonna get me a GPS or not? Scoob gulped, removed his seatbelt, and made his way back to the back. Dad would have breathed fire and shot smoke out of his ears if he'd been around to see. As he opened the for real fridge with the separate freezer, Gma gave him the rundown of Senior's features. "You see the lights above your head?" Scoob looked up. "Yeah." "Those are LEDs," she said. "Real state of the art. There's also a microwave, a 2-burner cooktop, and 2 Ultra HD TVs where you can watch anything. Rated PG-13 or lower, that is." Scoob rolled his eyes. Gma pushed on. "Bathroom's there to the left of the mini pantry. Got a flushing toilet and a shower. And that dining booth you see there doubles as a bed. And speaking of beds, there's one in the rear for me and one for you right about the cab here. There's a window up there and everything, kiddo." Scoob could hear the proud smile in her voice, which made him smile too, despite the fact that she'd called him kiddo. As he grabbed the drink for Gma and saw that the fridge was fully stocked, Scoob realized he'd never again play on the old tire swing in Gma's backyard, or kick back on the old window seat in the attic with his favorite book. When it hit him that this bizarre truck that contained everything a person needs to live, this thing was now Gma's house? Creepy. Gma's fingers do a tap dance on the steering wheel, pulling him back to the present, and he takes a deep breath and lets his eyes continue to roam around the open space behind him. It's so weird to him that if he has to pee, all he's got to do is walk like 15 feet to the little bathroom. And it flushes? Where does this stuff even go? It's not like they're connected to a sewer. And what about the dirty dish and shower water? Gma's house had one of those old-school bathtubs with the fancy metal feet, and Scoob secretly loved to get in it with one or two of the lemon-sized balls Gma would buy that would fizz up like Alka-Seltzer and turn the bath all kinds of wild colors. Plop! Fizz! And the water would be blue and kind of shimmery, like taking a soak in the galaxy. This RV doesn't have a tub, so no more galaxy baths. His gaze catches on the kitchenette thingy as he faces forward, which just adds to his sudden sadness. He can't imagine Gma making her blue ribbon-winning cast-iron French toast, first pan-toasted, then baked in the pan for a few minutes for extra crispiness on the outside, on that rinky-dink cooktop thingy. No more extra street Arnold Palmers on the porch swing. Nor more reading in front of the fire. In all honesty, the RV gives Scoob the willies. But of course he can't tell Gma that. Not when she's so excited about it. Well, she says, taking her baby blue eyes off the road to look at him, second only to Shanice's honey brown ones. Gma's got the prettiest eyes Scoob's ever seen. What do you think, kiddo? Scoob traces the handle of his door and gulps down his true feelings. I think it's great, Gma, he says with forced enthusiasm. Whether or not she can tell she's lying, Scoob doesn't know. Good, she said. Settle on in. We got quite a ways to go. And that's where I'm going to stop for today. Like I've said earlier, I'm going to return these books. So whenever they come back, you can swing by and get them at the library if you want, and you can always look on my YouTube channel if you didn't like what was this week. This week I also read Charlie Hernandez and the League of Shadows, which is a book akin to Percy Jackson but with Latin mythology, and a murder mystery thriller called Montmorency that was really interesting. So those will be up on my channel, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.